Hey, what's up? This is the Sports Post Podcast. It is Jag Manget for June the 22nd, 2021. Replay of Game 7, Brooklyn versus Milwaukee. Let's talk about that one for a second here. Actually, you know what? Let's talk about the NHL, what transpired last night. It was an absolute mauling last night. It was Tampa Bay just killing the Islanders 8-0 to take a 3-2 series lead up on the Islanders. That game was just incredible. If you guys saw the highlights, make sure you check them out. If you didn't, I don't know. I just don't know what to say about that. On the other side, you have Montreal Canadiens taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas tied it up on, I believe it was Sunday, two games apiece now. So that series is continuing on tonight, Game 5 in Vegas, and I don't know. It's we'll see what happens for that series, but I think Montreal will come out of that series, and I think Tampa Bay will come out of the other series. So, I'm just in shock of what happened last night. It was 8-0. I just did not see that coming. I don't think anyone saw that coming. It was an absolute mauling last night. Speaking of series playoffs, let's take a look at the NBA. NBA Brooklyn versus Milwaukee. Now, basically, it was Milwaukee up on the Brooklyn Nets, and Kevin Durant tied it with 1 second left to go. And had his foot been just a little bit back, they would have won the series because that would have been a 3. But it was that's much away from being a 3-point shot and winning the series. So that went into overtime, and I just can't believe that Kevin Durant shot an air ball because obviously he was super tired, and because of that they lost the series. And Kevin Durant tried to tie it, but he was just simply exhausted. I think he played every single minute, and it's you got to give him the credit he deserves. He's one hell of a player. He shot the lights out of that series, and he's officially on USA Basketball this coming off season, and rightfully so. He will win the chip there, but Brooklyn Nets, you have to think that they are on a mission come next year to win the championship. They're on the mission, meaning that they will try to succeed in that realm. But you got to think, Kyrie was injured, James Harden was injured, and so it's yeah, you got to watch that game. That game was just insane, and you kind of felt deflated for Kevin Durant because he did so much for the series, and to end off like that with an air ball, I feel bad for the guy. I still do. So, it's at the end of the day, what can you do, right? The Atlanta Hawks versus 76ers game. Now, that was actually, before I divulge into that, I want to take a look at it. Phoenix Suns defeated Clippers 1-0 in that series, and they're up on that series 1-0. So Devin Booker, I think he had like 40 points. He had a triple double, but he was playing like, it just, people are comparing him to the late great Kobe Bryant, and I wouldn't go that far, but some of the moves that Kobe has done, Devin Booker was using that game. So I still think that Phoenix Suns will win the actual title this year. Anyone can beg to differ. I don't care, but it's just the way it is. I think that Phoenix Suns will win the championship this year. Devin Booker will like just play phenomenal tonight, because that game's on tonight. Game 2, Kawhi is still out, and so is CP3. So it's just pretty much Paul George versus Devin Booker in the Stars versus Stars. Now, if you take a look at the 76ers and Atlanta game, now that was Atlanta won. And there's a lot of times where Ben Simmons should have took the shot, should have made his free throws, and late great Kobe Bryant said that he's got to work on his jump shot, and basically it's that's his downfall. His downfall is not working on his jump shot. That totally affected him in the series. I think he shot a total of 5 times in the series. Like, he does a lot of other things, but you know, if he only shoots 5 times in the series, and in the regular season he's averaging 18 points a game, that's obviously saying something about his psychological, and he's got to work on his shot. But for everybody to think that he's out, that's just not wrong, because on Sunday when he missed and he played a horrible game, Joel Embiid, his own teammate, was blaming him. Doc Rivers was blaming him, the coach, and a lot of other guys were saying, like, that's just wrong. You should take more shots and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like everybody's ganging up on the kid, and I don't think that's right. And it's he will be stronger next year, but this kid's getting a lot of flack. He's only 24. I think he's 24. He's getting a lot of flack, and rightfully so. Like, he did a horrible job in the series, and it did cost them the series. But for Joel Embiid to say that, I think that's just pure out stupidity, because if you recall, Joel Embiid had a late game turnover that could have tied the game, but it was his own turnover, and it was Joel Embiid's fault then, but nobody's picking up on that. Everybody's pouncing on Ben Simmons, and Ben Simmons is, mark my word, he will have a breakout year next year. Anyone that wants to trade for Ben Simmons now is in one hell of a position, because I'm reading Toronto Raptors, I'm reading San Antonio Spurs. If San Antonio trades for Ben Simmons, you better look out, because they can develop this kid, and this kid could be a phenomenal star, more than he already is. So it's people should watch what they say in regards to Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons can actually play legit basketball, and his ceiling is just gonna grow. And I don't know, there's a lot of hateful stuff that's going on around the league. I'm reading that he's acts like a baby, he doesn't want to listen, and he's very spoiled. That may be the case, but he's only 24 years old, and he can actually adjust his game, hopefully. So tonight's games, like I said, Montreal Canadiens taking on the Vegas Golden Knights. That series is tied 2 games apiece, and Phoenix Suns taking on the Clippers. The Phoenix Suns are without CP3 because of his COVID testing, but however, he's not showing any symptoms, and it showed that he was fully vaccinated, or was vaccinated in February. So look for him to come out to Game 3. And Kawhi Leonard, I think he'll be back in Game 4. This is Jag Mangit for the Sports Post Podcast. This is June 22nd, 2021.